Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's PhotoBiz Live, where we'll be doing a Ask Me Anything About SEO. So if you're having trouble with SEO, don't know much about SEO, or maybe you want to utilize some of the SEO tools within PhotoBiz, that are some things that we're going to cover today. So I'll go over some general things just so you can kind of get caught up. If you don't have an idea of how SEO operates and works, that'll be the main focus today, and then how you can utilize those strategies within your website. So I'm going to give people some time before we get started. So let's wait till people show up. If you have any comments or questions about SEO, please leave it in the comment section as we get going. I'd like to know what you're interested in learning more about. Okay, let's get started. So again, if you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments section. Also, check out blog.photobiz.com for more updates and SEO. You can learn more about SEO changes there as well. So let's dive right on in to So let's go ahead and get started. So right away, the basics of SEO. Let's take a look at that. So what is SEO? SEO is search engine engine optimization. So what is search engine optimization? So if you use things like Google or Bing to search anything online, these are search engines, obviously. So these are ways that are indexing your content or any web page out there. So you need to understand how search engines search for your stuff. If it's looking at target demographic data, like who, what, when, where, and why about you, and who you are trying to be discovered for, these are things that the algorithm is putting you in place of. So think of like Google and these guys as like yellow pages, but way more intuitive and targeting when it comes to basing who are people searching for. And you also need to understand how Google Analytics searches at this data. When it's looking at how people are finding your website, how they're staying on your website, engagement. Engagement is the biggest part that you need to look at when people are on your website. So when you're looking at your Google Analytic data, please ensure that your engagement data seems to be higher than lower. We see relative scores such as like people coming to websites and staying on there for less than a second. This is becoming commonplace. People will get to pages and then go to the next page very, very, very quickly. So if you're looking at how long people stay on pages, if you're looking at how long it takes them to actually navigate the website, and also how long it takes them to exit the website, these are things that you want to know. Because engagement says something is important with this website. And Google recognizes when things are engaging, it's going to optimize it for search results. So it says, hey, this page is important. Maybe I should show this to more people. Or more people leave this web page quickly, so I'm not going to show it as often. So these are things that the search engine algorithms kind of put together when it comes to looking at data and how your page is optimized. So let's look at some technical SEO, how indexing works. Again, you're putting in your keywords, your technical titles, and metadata. So it's going to put that there first, but there's also other things that you might not know that are happening behind the scenes, such as how fast does it load, how much JavaScripts are there, how fast the images are, how big the images are, even if there's audio playing. If audio plays on a web page right away, Google's probably going to be like, I'm not going to show it. So it's looking at all these little pieces that you aren't told, and Google keeps having these leaks and things come out talking about how their algorithm works, when it really comes down to making sure that you have great content, great searchable content. And what we mean by that is it needs to be organically written. Something that doesn't sound robotic does a long way when it comes to content. And engagement. You want to make sure that people are wanting to stay on your website, so you want to write incredible work that is making it visible. Web vitals in Search Console. So this is basically talking about the health of your pages. It'll talk about things that aren't working and are working, such as when we're looking at broken pages, redirects, things like that. So this is something that you want to be very aware of. So you want to make sure that you have Google Search Console attached to your website, because this is basically kind of like a pulse. It kind of lets you know like, hey, certain things aren't indexing right, and here's the reasons why. These are the things that you want to take in consideration as well, because it helps you improve your website, and then they'll crawl it again. And if those things are healthy now, then it's going to be more viable for search engines. The next thing you want to look at is other tools to use. I mean, the less, the more, right, when it comes to anything like that. But there are other tools out there such as Moz, Google Analytics, things like that will help you kind of analyze your pages when it's going out there. Another thing you can utilize is some of the AI tools that we have built into our system, such as PhotoBiz AI, which can help you write content, which will become more prevalent as we talk further on. So, things that we need to look at. We got to look at on-page SEO. So, again, what are the on-page SEOs? Keywords. How to find them. How to create content around keywords. So, if you're a photographer and you're trying to be found for newborn photography or senior photography, you need to make sure those keywords are there. But you also need to make sure that you're kind of being found in those regions that you're located at. This isn't just in the back metadata, but on page as well. Make sure these words are integral and integrated into your website at the time. You want to make sure that, if you say you're a newborn photographer, you say it on the page as well, not just burying it in the keywords. This is just going to help you be found much more prevalent, and Google knows how to list you quite easily. And then you got to look at how to create content around keywords. How do you create content? So I know a lot of people get stuck on this part. They don't really understand that you got to have more than just a website. You need it to be more. We come from a website era of, a couple, 10 plus years ago, that just having a portfolio site was enough, just images. But now you can't do that because the way that websites are built is it's looking for high interest and engagement. So that means you need to have intelligent words on the page and not just keyword stuffing. That's some black hat SEO. We mean black hat, that means negative SEO. It was ways to game the system a long time ago, but that is no longer a faction that you could do anymore in the website world. They're a lot smarter because they're looking for things to make it much more interesting to them. And robots, these bots are wanting to be intelligent. AI has become more prevalent. I've been talking about it for 10 years. The reason why they want you to write intelligent words is so they understand how to speak in a more intelligent way. Sounds scary, but that's just how it goes, and it helps with the algorithm at the end of the day too. So when you're creating content around it, make sure that it's verbally makes sense, that there's no errors, there's no spelling, grammar issues, but also write around what you know. A portfolio page with like gallery images can also have a paragraph or two explaining what you do, and you can make that curated for the who, what, when, where, why about you, because people want to know. So when they're searching for, Kansas City photographer, if you don't have that anywhere except in your keywords, those pages might not be relevant or be discoverable in search engines. So please make sure that you have that content on the page as well. It's just kind of like a faster way to make it relevant. And don't do the keyword stuffing. You might see it quite often, and I still do, but you'll have it where everyone lists every place that they're located at. So if I'm in Greensboro, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina photographer. I also shoot in Randolph County, Guilford County, Forsyth County, Rockingham County, you name it, like naming all the locations around them versus just specifically to that area. Their algorithm is so much smarter now that it can get anyone that's searching for a photographer within like a 50-mile radius, you might show up. That's what you want. You want to make sure that you're writing content around that, but also putting regional pieces and demographics in there so people know what to search for. So if they're looking for a newborn photographer, you'll probably pop up more relatively faster as long as that context's on there, but you do not have to keyword stuff every location that you do anymore. So user intent. What is user intent? User intent is how people search. People search based on what they're looking for right away. Back in the day, think about how you used to search online. Best gardener, best restaurant, best anything. Well, guess what? That's very prevalent today. But we're looking for newborn photographer in X location. A lot of people search that way these days. So think about that when you're putting that context together, because you're going to be in that region, that bubble that is in that search now. They know where these are happening at based on their phone, based on their computer, wherever they're located at. It knows where they are based at when they make that decision. Think about when you type in restaurant on your phone and all of a sudden you see all the map data around it. It shows you all the maps. It's much like that. People are looking for photographers near them. That's why some people name their businesses Dentist Near Me now, because they think that's a way to gain the system. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. We're past the yellow page era of naming your business Aardvark Photography to show up first on the pages. So you just need to make sure that the content is written well, that you have those keywords on the page somewhere organically, so when people search for newborn photographer in your area, you pop up. So that's what you want to make sure is relevant at the end of the day. Content and blogs, how often to post. So blogging is very vital. A lot of people don't do it, or they forget to do it, or say they're not good at it. And we'll talk about a little bit that more when we get into the builder itself. But how often should you post? If you're able to do a post a week, that's fantastic. That's a lot of relevancy, and that's 52 pieces of content per year. Now think about that. That's 52 pages now out in the world in the trillion page space of the internet. Anything you do to build off of that is going to help create content, and it's going to help people lead over to you. If you only have a website page and you only have 4 pages on there, you're depending on those 4 pages to do so much heavy lifting against your competitors. So why not give yourself the edge by making sure that you have plenty of content out there? And guess what? If you're able to do a post once a week, great. If you could do one every other week, even better. Just get it done. It's really fast and easy. And this comes over to our next question, AI content. A lot of people get worried about how AI content is searched for. Well, for the most part, it's fine. What you need to do, though, is curate the AI content. So you can have AI content right on your behalf, but then you should go through and put a human comb to it. Make sure that you're making sure it says what you need it to, adding little details here and there, and even having it just review your content to make sure that it sounds formal and sounds correct is a way to do it. And when it comes to formatting, make sure that you're also utilizing the proper headers. You only need one H1 header, and that means the top level per page. And the reason why that is, when Google is searching for the most important thing on the website, a title like that, it thinks H1 equals the most important thing. But if you have 2 or 3 on there, it doesn't know what's important for the users to be searched for. So make sure that you're making H1, and then the rest can be H2 and H3s. H2s are subheaders, H3s are even subber. So just think about that. So the more subheaders, the more it gets documented correctly in the right format. So let's talk about a little bit about off-page SEO. Now, what is that? That's looking at things such as domain. What is the domain authority? So, how important is your domain? How powerful is your domain? It's looking at things like that. Is it a .com? Is it a .net, org? It's looking at things like that. So if you're able to have a .com, that's the most important factor, because that means commercialability. It means of importance. Also, having short domain names is easier, not just for domain authority, but for users to remember. If you have something called like GreensboroBestPhotographer.com, that's a little bit hard to remember versus your name. So Jane Doe Studio. Think about all those things. So shorter the better. Make sure that's important. Why is it important? Because it's important for people to be able to find you relatively fast, and it helps put you in indexing when it's looking at things like that. Now, what are backlinks? Backlinks are very, very vital. They're very important. If you're able to get listed on someone else's website, and that domain has, it's like, say, a newspaper, they have a higher domain authority. So that's what you're coming up with when you're looking at the authority level. So obviously, if something is linked on something like a newspaper, CNN, ESPN, something like that, if you're able to link back from those types of sources, they have higher domain authorities because they've been around longer, but they're also part of larger organizations. So if you're able to connect with those, it gives you more powerful, connections and searchability. So if you're able to, like, say, if your local newspaper, if they have a .com, if you're able to get backlinks for any article that you've, maybe an event that you did, if they're able to list you as the photographer for that event, clicks over to your website, that gives your website more strength, because now you're a viable source. And the same thing can be said for when people try to link to you. It's just going to become this nice little trickle effect. But the thing is, you have to have good backlinks and not bad backlinks. What are bad backlinks? Well, you've probably seen them. They're the ones that are like just listing you, but they don't really mean anything important. You've probably seen them like on these Trustpilot websites and stuff like that. They don't really do much when it comes to your backlinking abilities. They're just what we call them content aggregators. What they do is they just pull you up, list you there, and sometimes you have to pay for those listings. Those are devalued because they're not, you're having to pay for them, which is not good already. You should never have to pay to be listed somewhere. That's a key thing. But they don't have true authority over like how relevant your content is. If your stuff is being listed on a website, say, for us, we have like the Greensboro News and Record, that's going to give you way more relevancy score than, say, best websites, photographers.com. That doesn't mean anything. So look for valuable backlinks when you're putting that together. If you're able to do events for certain locations, connect with them. That looks like venues, spaces like that. That's going to give you much more higher relevancy scores and domain authority. So search for those. Why are they important? Because they give you legitimacy, first of all, and Google starts to trust you based on their trust from those domains. So think about that when you're putting that together. Local SEO, reviews in Google. So set up a Google business profile if you haven't yet. Why is that important? It's kind of like a hack in a way to get you listed and get you on the map faster than anything else. So when people are searching for a business near them, within a 10 to 15 mile radius, you're gonna pop up around all your competitors and stuff like that, but different types of photographers as well. It's really great to be on there. Gets you right on the page right away because people look at maps faster these days. People are very visual, so you definitely want to utilize that structures. But you can create Google Business Profile. What's also nice about it, it puts all your information there. You can put like your .com. You can put your hours. You can also put posts that are important, coupons, anything like that you think might be relevant for your business, and it's right out there front before they even get to your website. So definitely recommend doing that. You also get the best thing, and that is reviews, local reviews. So you having reviews on your Google Business Profile really, really helps. It helps you grow. The more you have, the more relevant you are to Google, and it's going to showcase you more. So if you're able to start collecting those, or even getting retroactive reviews, I definitely recommend doing that. If you didn't already have a Google Business Profile, if you have a Google Business Profile and you hadn't had reviews on there, and you've had plenty of customers since, please, 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 I implore you to go and try to get your customers to fill that information out. It can only help and raise you in the eyes of Google. The more people review your business and the more satisfied people are, the more likely Google is going to show you to other people searching for your particular type of industry. And local backlinks, we talked about it before, but if you're able to connect to local venues, events, and also newspapers and other things like that, if you're able to connect to those, it just gives you bigger positioning. So when people search for Jane Doe Studios, first article might be up from the News and Record. Jane Doe Studios shot this amazing event, So that's something that you definitely want to make sure that you're getting a bunch of those types of backlinks. So what's the future hold right now? Algorithm changes, AI, social media. Yes, the algorithm is constantly changing, but there are some stowaway things that haven't changed, and that's having plenty of blog content and well-written content. That is always going to be huge factors for Google to perform well. AI. Yes, we have a lot more AI-centric things going on right now. Everyone is constantly thinking AI is the next step. Though it might be, it still needs a human component to make it work. So you need to always be thorough in making sure that Google doesn't, or AI doesn't do something or say something, particularly dumb. I will say that you will notice that emails that come from AI usually start out with the I hope this email finds you well, stuff like that. It thinks that's how humans talk, but it's actually very boorish and predictable. So you want to make sure that anything that you have AI do on your behalf, that you go through and look at it and make sure it sounds right, that it sounds good to you, and that it also fits the tone that you're looking for. Social media. Social media is constantly evolving on almost a daily basis. So the algorithm is constantly changing. What they're looking for is changing. But there are some things that you always need to be looking out for, and that's mostly video content right now. They have definitely made video content, especially through like TikTok and Instagram, more prevalent than ever. But Instagram rolled back on a few things, so now we're seeing slideshows work more effectively when it comes to search. So definitely recommend trying that out for yourself, see if that works. And also just single image posts aren't as effective as they once were. So definitely want to make sure that you utilize some of their strengths, but use their reels, use their story options. That's a great way to connect with people, and you can always reshare stories to make sure people are seeing the content that you want them to see. So what we're looking at now in the current era is search engine prioritize content that generally addresses user intent over keyword stuff and overly optimized pieces. Practical tips: shift focus from ranking goals to solving user problems or answering specific questions. So when we're saying that is, we're looking at how web pages are being designed lately. How are you solving someone's problem is typically what we've seen. If you were like just a photographer in the past, you'd be like, hey, here I am, here's my work. But now you need to be able to curate content that is like how you solve someone's problem. You've probably seen it. It's this style of landing page where, like I needed the best photography for my kids, but I didn't know who to choose. Luckily, I went to see Jane Doe Studios because she was able to give me something that I never thought would be possible. So it's a more narrative. It's what we call story brand for some people, and I know some of you probably have heard that language for photographers. So story brand is nothing new. It's basically kind of like the infomercial style. So it's like X had a problem. Oh, great, X solved. Y solved it. So you need to have that type of storytelling when it comes to some of these web page designs. I definitely recommend that for like investment and booking pages and even testimonial pages. Homepage, you can have a little bit of everything, but you can talk about how you are optimized to making that customer's life better. Because even with photography, we have a want versus a need product. People do not need photographers per se, but they might want it. But you got to make them understand why they would want that. So maybe it's something that you're doing in the language of in the context is like, creating something that they'll have for life, something that they'll always cherish, things like that. So you need to have that type of language integrated in there. Analyze search queries to understand the user's inner intent, transactional information, and navigational. So again, think about how people search. If they're searching for you specifically based on, I'm looking for, a photographer who can sell products. Think about that. They're looking for that. They're looking for investment pages. They're looking for booking pages. So make sure that is written out there so people know that you have those options available in your page integrations. Example highlight: the success of your hashtag blog demonstrates the power of providing fresh insight content. So you want to make sure that you're writing content that people will want to search for. So when we're looking at some of these things in the current era, unique insights needed. Actionable insights. Regularly audit the existing content to find gaps and opportunities in adding unique data expertise. Leverage proprietary research, industry-specific knowledge, or case studies for competitive edge. So see what all your competitors are doing. See how you can make a way. So you can write evergreen content that is always searchable, but you can also write content on what makes you different, especially to your competitors. Is your price points different? Are you doing something locationally different? Those are things that people might want to search for. If you're in a rural area, you might want to shoot more urban photography. And that might be aesthetically pleasing to somebody that's like, hey, they take all their photos in the city. I want that. So think about that when you're putting that content together. And then complete site makeovers. Build websites. Make sure that you have friendly navigation. We say 7 items at most in your top navigation. Everything else could be drop downs. Readability. Make sure that it's fast and easy to read, skimmable, but you can also break it up with images so it doesn't feel like a wall of text. And mobile performance are key. You want to make sure that your website looks good and plays well on phones. Reorganize the site to match, the user's workflow. Make sure that it has an S shape when it comes to readability, and ensure content discovery aligns with intent. You want to make sure that it's just easy to find what you're looking for on the page. And enhancing content helpfulness. Add actionable steps, tools, and insights to make content genuinely useful. Test content improvements by gathering feedback and analyzing metrics. Have people that review your website. Is it easy for them to figure out how to get to the steps to book you? If it's not, then you might have a problem. So it's always good to test it out, because we kind of get all in our head saying, oh, our website's easy. Next thing you know, you're like, why is no one coming to my website and booking? Maybe there's a flaw in there. But if you have someone that you trust that can review the website, get them to do it. So link building. Things that you can do. SpamBrain focuses on relevancy, means links must align with the link content, purpose, and topic. So whatever you're talking about should be in the content that you're writing about, no matter what. Don't try to false, clickbait or anything like that. Deprioritize raw link quantities. Instead, focus on quality backlinks and niche-related sites. So again, always, if you're going to add links, make sure those links are also relevant websites. Otherwise, it might drag you down. Guidelines for strong links. What makes a good link? Thoughtful anchored text that integrates naturally into the content. Link pointing to high-value, relevant resources. No clickbaiting. Again, don't send people off to clickbaits. Send them to real good sources. Avoid links unrelated industries. Irrelevant blogs, they may harm your rating. So if you're talking about things that aren't related to your industry, it can actually hurt you. I was looking at someone's website last week and they had a lot of content that was not even related to photography. They were using their blog as a personal blog, and that's just not what you want to do. Tactical. Tactics for link building. Partner with complementary websites that target the same audiences. Offer tools, guides, free resources to encourage organic backlinks. So make sure that you got something you can create PDFs with, like, how-to guides, what to wear guides, things like that. And digital PR. Create unique, timely content such as data visualizers and interactive elements to attract attention from media outlets. So if you want to create anything, you send this off to PR companies saying, hey, why they should put you on their website or feature you on their website. And unlinked mentions. Reach out to websites mentioning your brand but not linking. So if you see someone talk about your business but they didn't put a link on there, connect with them. Connect with the author to say, hey, can you put a link on my website? Get that backlink. And AI and zero-click searches. So one thing that we have seen really come up in the last few years, especially this last year, is zero clicks. So what is zero-click searches? I learned about this and I was pretty blown away by it. But more people search today by just zero-click, searching, but not clicking on the website, but getting all the information that they want right before they even click in. So if you're searching for anything, all that data can now be told to you before you even click on a website. So if people are looking for the perfect price for newborn photography, they can get lists from all different sources, and they're like, oh, cool, now I know how much this costs, and they don't even have to click on your website. But that looks bad because for you, you're like, oh, no one's coming to my website. But they might be getting the data and booking with you based on the no search results. So the zero-click results is going to make things much more interesting as the future goes on, because I think AI is going to show more overviews and snippets based on that in the future. So we might see people not go to websites as often, but that doesn't mean websites aren't important, because now AI is now pulling that information and putting it on the top level of Google searches versus going deeper into a website. So that's something to be familiar with. You might want to talk to your SEO experts about this if this seems like something might be happening to you. This is something that we've noticed. It happens. People don't even have to click in on the website anymore. They can get all the information before they even go into the website. So it's very fast. It's very relevant. Let's see. Let me search for something. So yeah, here we go. Here's an AI overview. I'm going to pull it up real quick so you can see the difference. So what does a website cost is what I asked for, and it gave me all these, and you can see these links are connected. So domain name, website hosting, platforms, you name it. It gives you all this information without you having to go to websites anymore. Like, I didn't have to go to Forbes or anything like that. It pulled all that information right ahead. So this is helpful, but it also can mean less people click on things. So just think about that. If you're seeing less people click on your website, it could be due to that scenario. All right, things that you should focus on, key areas for zero-click search. Content equality and relevancy. Focus on evergreen topics that align with users' queries and hold value over time. So again, like I was talking about, make sure you write content that can be searched forever. If you're writing things that are like, what to wear during X type of photo shoot in X location, that's pretty evergreen. So think about that type of content. You can easily make a ton of those, and that'll just help with people searching, because people search for things like, what should I wear for my photo shoot in the summertime, or at whatever location. Entity optimization and schema markups. Implement structured data to help AI identify prioritizing your site. So when it comes to schema and things like that, they're going to start pulling that information like we just saw then for AI markups. Search intent, tailor long tail keyword. So what is a long tail keyword? It's just basically a long keyword. So think about, how much does a website cost? That's one keyword. You can say that, how much does a website cost in 2025? That would be a long tail keyword. Search intent alignment, tailored long. Yeah, so we've done that. Okay. User engagement and technical performance. Optimize page load times, so the faster the better. Interactive elements, make it fun, make it interesting, and design to increase time on websites. So if you can make things visually appealing, video content, stuff like that, that's going to make people want to stay on your website versus not and walking away. So other things you can do is the shift towards entity search, contextual relevancy, use schema to clarify relationships between entities like brands, locations, and products. So just make sure that the content is very noticeable, that this is you, this is who you are. Build brand trust by ensuring consistent representation across all digital platforms. That is basically that NAPS. Make sure that your name, address, phone is all consistent across all boards. And that goes for even your website. Schema markup for AI, we solved that. And then technical focus, use same as properties to connect with authoritative entities. So we want to make sure that we are connecting with businesses using tools that are well known. Prioritize structured formats like FAQs and how-tos to maximize search. People love searching for how to do things. So if you're able to do something even from your business, you might be a newborn photographer or a product photographer, but you don't shoot products, but someone might search for that. And that might be a way to get people inside your website. So something to be considerate about. And build robust internal links to establish topical authority, guide bots to important pages. So always find a focus and drive people there. All right, now that we've talked about SEO, let's talk about it through the website builder itself. So we're going to jump over. All right, so if you don't know how to add SEO data to your pages, it's really, really easy. I'm just going to start on this page right here. We've had one that we've been building for a bit. It's got video content. It's got a lot of cool stuff. But maybe we have just a little SEO. I think I got some here. But if you don't know how to customize for it, you can easily do it. It'll probably start out on auto, which is fine. But you want to click custom. And here you can go in. You can customize your meta, title, descriptions, and keywords. Now, you could just do it all manually, but you could also lean on PhotoBiz AI to assist you. And what's nice about this is it takes a lot of the hard work out of it. So maybe you are a senior photographer in Greensboro, business name is Jane Doe Studios. I specialize in seniors in studio portraits. So maybe we're making it all about in studio. So I'm going to say senior photographer in Greensboro, North Carolina. Business name is Jane Doe Studios. I specialize in seniors in studio portraits. How about that? That's all we need. So I'm going to tell it to do that. And here we go. There we go. So senior photographer in Greensboro, North Carolina. And this is positioned to make it work well. And you can see there's character limits for Google. We automatically edit those there so you understand this context when we're putting it in. So look, senior photographer in Greensboro, North Carolina, Jane Doe Studios. This is a great title. You can see what previous it was. I was doing seniors and families in Greensboro, but now we got North Carolina. Capture your senior moments in Jane Doe Studios, expert in studio portraits, located in Greensboro, North Carolina. Schedule your session today. Yeah, and then you can see the meta keywords: senior photography, Greensboro, North Carolina, Jane Doe Studios, in studio portraits, senior portraits, photography, Greensboro portrait photographer, high school seniors, professional photography. That's pretty brilliant. And the reason why I tell people to lean on the AI, especially for SEO, it's so fast. It's so fast, and you didn't even really have to think about it. You can do that for all the pages that you want searchable, and you don't have to worry about like, oh my gosh, what should I write about and things like that. No, if you know who you are, you can talk about it that way, and then you can come through all these other pages. If you want to say, hey, write anything else, you can go through other sections and write me a paragraph or a sentence about something. It can all be related. It's very fast, but then you just need to review it and make sure it sounds good. Now, the other big component that we talked about was blogging. Blogging is huge. So let's talk about blogging real quick. You would want to create your blog post. I'm just going to call that some senior sessions. And you'll see you have an image. We're just going to put something here. Just going to add this one. It's good. Okay. And then I'm going to write some context. I need to write something. Now, you could write all this organically, right? Or you could ask PhotoBiz AI to assist you. So write about an evergreen topic for what to wear in fall for senior photo in Greensboro, NC, outdoors and in studio for Jane Doe Studio Photography. Okay, so you're just going to keep it simple like that. It's going to then write something for us. Okay. You see, it wrote all this context, so we can go through and see what it wrote. Outdoor photos, what to wear for fall and senior photos in Greensboro. Outdoor photos. Fall in Greensboro is a beautiful time. Its vibrant foliage creates a perfect backdrop for your senior photos. When selecting the outfit for outdoor sessions, consider the following: layers, earthy tones, textures, comfortable footwear, accessories. In studio sessions, you might want to consider different things: solid colors, classic styles, minimal patterns, general tips, regardless. So you can see how it does this. Now you want to add something else, like add a call to action. Add a call to action to book with and there you go. You got something here. Then you can add your button. Book now. So now let's review what this looks like. You can see how it's putting it all together. It's looking pretty good. You can then go through and modify things. You can see this is a header 2. Maybe we make this a header 1. We can make this the header 2. And a header 2. Fast and easy. Fast and easy. That's what we're going for. We do not want this to take too much time away from our goal, and that's to get people to click to book with us. But at the end of the day, this is for optimization. Now you can go a step further. Now you can optimize the blogs after this. So what you can do is click on SEO for that blog. You can see it's going to automatically pull stuff, but we want to go a step further. We want to modify this. So we're going to ask PhotoBiz evergreen There you go. So now you got something. We can say what to wear for fall. And then just curate it. Make sure that it's hitting everything you want to. So now this article is going to have much more teeth on it. You can then change the article's title if you want to, if you know what it's going to be about. what to wear for here. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go to our details, change the title, and there we go. So now when people search, everything is going to be searchable. It's going to make it much, much more discoverable. Fantastic. You can do this and apply this to all the things within the website builder for anywhere that you're working on, for any block that you're working on, needing content for the overall page itself, for blog content, and much, much more. You can rely on these features to help your SEO gain traction within the new digital world. So that's all I wanted to focus on today. You can also check out more about how PhotoBiz AI, a how-to guide for SEO. I showcase it just here a little bit, but it's going to help you automate keyword and metadata, content optimization, SEO-friendly blog writing assistance. But again, if you want to see how it's done, I kind of break it down here and how you can create content. So check that out. Go to our blog.photobiz.com. You can click on that. You can also see it in the guide section here on how to create it here as well. So definitely check out our blog.photobiz.com. There's a whole tab for SEO content that is going to help you out when it comes to helping you with all your SEO related questions. You can also lean on our SEO team to help you and assist you with your SEO if you're having trouble. Don't worry, our team is here to help you out. You can check out that service for our SEO Go service. Just tap our team here and ask them more questions about it. You also have our education.photobiz.com. So if you're wanting to do something such as get a coaching service done, look at here, we have one just for SEO. If you want to have our team take a look at your content, revise it, anything like that, 1 hour, our team will go through your SEO and make sure that it is optimized for search. They'll also give you some pointers and maybe help you making better decisions in the future. But you can also choose this for other things such as design assistance, client galleries, and e-commerce setup, marketing, forms and contract setup, and even getting started. You also can see our on-demand videos here, which will help you when coming up with anything such as our SEO section, and if you need help setting up any other products within the builder itself. You can see our upcoming events here as well. You can check out next week we have website reviews, so we'll be doing website reviews on the 11th. After that, we will be asking me anything about mini sessions, then website reviews again, then PhotoBiz AI will be talking more in depth about PhotoBiz AI and how it can help your business, and another website reviews, and then animations, website reviews, and then one of my favorite new features coming, pre-designed blocks. You have to wait to see what that is. So a lot of great new features are out there. They're coming. A lot of great new sources. If you need help, please reach out to our team. Our team is here to assist you at all times. You can live chat or call us anytime. We'll be there to assist you. So if you have any other questions about SEO, please reach out to our team. Our team will help out with that. But if you have any other questions, you can leave it in the comment section. We'll take a look at it as we go. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I'll see you next time. And